Grade 6. I hope you all have enjoyed the Christmas well. We'll get into the subject. Session 2, Habitat and Adaptation. Already we have seen this introduction in our offline class. So today we will see it in detail with the content. Okay. So I hope everyone have joined. If anyone is joining in between, admit them. Let them continue with them. Okay. So today the adaptation of camel and fish, that is what we are going to see. So already I have said that the adaptation is very important one for every animal and human being to live in a particular area, right? So in our earth we are not with the same climate, water, food, right? The availability of the food, water, climate, everything is different, right? So it is not easy for us to live everywhere. So the adaptation is very important. So the camel adaptation is like living in a desert. So camel will live in the desert with few adaptations, like they need to consume less water, they need to withstand the hot weather. Okay, so these are the challenges they have. So we should know how they will be surviving, right? So they have some adaptation in their body. First thing is they have a long legs. So the long legs helps them to keep their body away from the hot sand. So thereby they can be able to prevent the hotness reaching their whole body from the sand. So you may ask, even the desert is so hot, from above also the sun rays will fall on the body of the camel. Yes, of course, but the reflection from the sands are very heavy, so that will affect the underbody of the camel. So that also will be prevented because of the legs. They have long legs, thus they have the long legs. And the bottom of the leg of the camel is designed in a way so they will not shrink in the desert. Okay, so they can withstand in the desert. They can walk, run in the desert sand without any issues. So it is strong enough to walk in the desert. This is another adaptation. Okay, and they have long eyelashes. They have long eyelashes in their eyes to prevent the sand entering into their eyes. Okay, so you hope you all know there are few kinds of wind which is present, so that will be raising the sand particles. Okay, so even when we are going in the road, it is difficult for us to face this dust. We wear glasses. So imagine the sand dunes when it is present in the desert will affect how much it will affect the eyes of the camel. So to prevent it, they have high eyelashes, long eyelashes. Okay, and the next one is the drinking of water, very important one. So they do not have water to drink at all the time. So what they will do, I hope you all know what is oasis. So the oasis is the place where the water is available. So they drink the water at a time. Okay, large amount of water, nearly 5 liters of water they will drink and store it in their body. Okay, especially in the stomach walls they will store it. So they need not to have a water thirsty. They won't get thirsty very quickly. So they excrete less urine, and also they have excreta, their camel dung, so that is also dry. So mostly they will excrete less of water from their body. So this is another kind of adaptation. Okay, and the dung is dry, small amount of urine only excreted, and they won't sweat also. Okay, so thereby they can prevent the dehydration in their body because the water availability is very less. Okay, and the camel also can live without water for many days. Okay, because of this adaptations, they lost very less water. So when you feel thirsty, you will feel thirsty when you excrete more of water in the form of sweat, urine, and you will feel if when you do the physical activity, you sweat more. So thereby the dehydration happens. So you will need water then and there. You will be feeling very thirsty. So these are the adaptation the camel is having, and the hump of the camel. Okay, hump of the camel is nothing but the place where the fat is stored. Okay, so fat is stored in the camel hump, and that will burn out and give the energy when the food is not available. So the another task is the food. So there is no green grass for grazing, and they won't get food like the cows in our normal places, right? So these are the challenges the camel is facing. So thereby this adaptations helps them for clearing up this challenges. Okay, so the next one we will see about the fish in the water. So another different kind of animal living in the fish. So the sea will be having any kind of water. Either it is a sea is having saline water with dissolved oxygen, and also fresh water, everything is having dissolved oxygen only, right? So that oxygen only absorbed by the fishes, right, the aquatic animals. So usually during the daytime, what happens in the desert, the desert having hot in the daytime and very cool at the night time. I have said the sand is a good reflection of the heat and cold, right? So the sea and the desert are very different from each other. The desert animals and plants live in desert soil and breathe air from the atmosphere. Sea animal and plants live in the water, and most of them take in the dissolved oxygen for respiration. Okay, we'll see in detail about the fishes now. So the fishes will be having a streamlined body. Okay, so streamlined body is nothing but the body which is narrow in both the ends, that is in the head and tail region. Okay, so it is narrow like this, like a boat. So you will know that the fish is also like this. So the head part and the tail part is narrow like this, and in center it is broader. So this kind of body only we call it as the streamlined body. So this streamlined body, how it helps the fishes to swim in the water? Usually the body propulsion, the fish, already we have seen this in the body movements lesson. So the body shape of the fish helps them to swim in the water. The propulsion of the fish takes place with the body only, not with the fins and scales. The scales and fins support the swimming range. Okay, in at what speed they are moving, they will continue the swimming, they will support, right? So this streamlined body of the fish allows the water to flow around it easily and helps the fish to move in water. So the scales of the body usually are slippery in nature. So slippery means it is slippy, right? So very slimy, right? So it will be very slippery and help the fish to move through the water. Okay, so and also the scales protects the body of the fish. Okay, so the fins, what the fins do, as I said earlier, the fins are help in maintaining the balance, and the tails help in changing the direction while swimming. So these all already we have seen in the movement lesson, body movements lesson. The head and the tail of the fish will be moving in opposite direction, and they will be helping in the body movement. So body movement only making the fish to swim in the water. So now coming to the another adaptation, that is the presence of gills. So gills will be helpful in taking in the dissolved oxygen and removing out the carbon dioxide. So you might have seen this gills in the fish, right? So they are like a some kind of wavy. Wavy means it is not like the lung, right? So they usually open and close under the neck of the fish, and there is a wavy movement. So they will take in and remove. So it will open and close like in that manner. So the fishes helps to clean the pond water or lake water or whatever. So most of the small microorganisms or small fishes, small any algae kind of. So these are the food of the fishes, aquatic animal I am saying in general. So they usually will clean up the water and they intake the dissolved oxygen. So when there is a dirty water inserted, recently we have seen many newses that even in our Madurai that Teppakulam water, right, so has been mixed up with the water, right, drainage water, and many fishes have died. So it will live only in the clean water. So any kind of excretas or any kind of drainage water or chemicals or oil, if anything is there in the water, it will not be digested by the fish, and that will lead them to death. Okay, so this feature of the fishes help to live in the water, and when you compare it with the camel features helps to survive in the desert. So this is the comparison. So these two animals are very different animals. They have different adaptations in their body. Okay, so thus you can say what is adaptation now? Adaptation is the presence of special features or certain habits which enable an organism to live naturally in a place. Naturally, okay. So when you go to a Himalayan range, we are going for any trekking, Mount Everest, you want to climb a Mount Everest, you cannot go as such. So you need to settle down, put the camp in the bottom of the mountain, and you will be there for 1 week or 10 days or 15 days to adapt your body for yourself. So that kind of adaptation we call it as acclimatization. Okay, acclimatization is nothing but the adaptation, temporary adaptation we have. Okay, so this temporary adaptation helps us to adapt to the environment naturally. Your body will get adapted. Okay, this is another kind of temporary adaptation we do, humans do, but animals do not have this kind of adaptations. It is very rare in few animals, so otherwise the animals will die, right? So the organism have different adaptation depending on their place of dwelling. Dwelling means living place. What does mean by dwelling? The living place where they live, where they have their house. So they will adapt to different adaptations in their body depending on their place of dwelling. Okay, so the fish cannot live out of the water. So this is the reason why the fish cannot live out of the water, and the camel cannot live in the water, right? So I hope you have understood what I have said. So any doubt in this you can ask.